What's up, everyone? We're back. It's episode 35. It's all four of us here, which is always a pleasure. A lot has gone on in the last 2 weeks. It's felt like an eternity for the four of us, but we're going to go through all of it. Champions League, FA Cup, managerial changes in England, Italy, Germany. I mean, it feels like there's been like 50 people that have moved, but we'll detail the big ones. But before we get into that, we're going to start in the Champions League. And Andrew and Ricardo must be pretty happy. Guys, how we feeling after what happened against Dortmund?
I found a scarf. Hold on. Oh, my brother's scarf is here. Anyway, Andrew, you go first.
I love Madrid! I love Madrid! Oh, my goodness. Cardiac. Sorry.
So, it's blurry. No, damn it.
It's okay. It's okay. Right off the bat, it was the most Real Madrid way to win a Champions League. It was peak Real Madrid. Cardiac Madrid. Let's wait till like the final, 30 minutes to turn it up, and they get the job done. Oh, my goodness. What a wonderful end to the season. Carvajal,
of all people.
Ricardo, did your brother call that?
He called that in the leg before, and then in the semifinal. And
okay, so, I remember hearing that. I'm like, did Ricardo's brother get that right? Okay.
Almost.
But still, it was on the right track.
Yeah.
My goodness, but we should have seen that coming. To be honest, we should have seen it coming. And then, of course, Vinny caps it off. And to be honest, the announcers kind of made it seem like the game was all over once Vinny scored. And I'm like, there's still a little bit over 10 minutes left, boys. I mean, let's just not jinx anything.
But they were playing Dortmund, not,
Yeah, but City. You never know. You can't take anything for granted.
Trust me.
I mean, they did score.
I wouldn't want to hear it if it was my team either.
Yeah.
I think Full's crew scored.
They had a goal taken away
right before stoppage time, and it got.
Yeah.
I mean, he was off by like virtually inches, but wins a win.
Wins a win. They got the job done. Toni Kroos ends his club career as a champion. Thank goodness.
Got an assist on the corner as well.
Oh,
I almost cried.
Everything about this match was cinema. It was perfect. Jude in Wembley
against his old team.
Sensational. I mean, the shot of Luka Modric holding the trophy too was peak. It gave me the chills. And then shortly after it was announced he would stay for his last dance next season, which it's special. It's incredible stuff. I'm telling you, this was the most Real Madrid weekend. I'd say this supersedes their last Champions League win. Just in terms of, I think I was more confident that season that they could win a Champions League. This year, you heard me on the podcast.
The ride was more difficult.
Entering the season.
The ride to get to this point was much more difficult. It had a few more challenges. It had more bumps and bruises. I mean, Alaba, Militao, Courtois all got hurt at the beginning of the season. You didn't have a pure number 9. Yes. That was a big question mark. I think that's why Andrew believes that this one's more special. Because it was a little bit more unlikely.
That one 2 years ago was crazy though, because you guys had 3 straight comeback victories in the second leg.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I'm not talking the quality of matches or anything like that. I'm just talking emotions and how I feel about this team. There are so many guys on this team that I effing love. And it's just it was a perfect team. And I mean, we talk about how they played with a backup keeper for most of the year. They didn't have a number 9. They still had the best coach in the world in Carlo Ancelotti. And if as long as you have good tactician and good leadership in a team, I mean, Real Madrid very young, but they still had those veteran stalwarts in place who had a voice. Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, I mean, God, Rudiger, just so many diverse players. And it all led to this, and it was perfect. And then to make it even better, we went ahead and signed, arguably the best player in the world. But but that's a story for a little later. Ricardo, how are you feeling?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you in the sense of like emotionally, definitely the most taxing, and you guys have already touched on it. Just going into the season, I mean, I had them bowing out in the semifinal. I didn't. I still had a feeling they would go on a deep run, but it just to me the talent. I mean, obviously was still there, but without a true number 9, I didn't think we could get to this point. And here they clearly proved me wrong. This was such a team. I feel like a very just like team together sort of win. Like obviously you had Benzema and like and other runs like Ronaldo, Bale, like individuals, but and give credit to Vinny and Jude but to me it just felt like it was all together, just the vibes the entire season. And yeah, like Jacob said, all the injuries that they had to navigate and somehow figured out a way to still have a really good defense, and just Ancelotti finding a way to get the best out of every single player. It was just, I think, yeah, this is the most impressive Champions League win I think Real Madrid's had. Just period. So
in our lifetimes, I think this might be the most. Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, it was. I'll be honest. In those after we scored that second goal, I thought it was over. I was a little arrogant. I was like, "I'm sorry, but Dortmund's not coming back from this." Like you said, Jacob. If this was City, I would still be sitting there like, "Oh, I'm like all anxious." But after that second goal went in, I was like, "It's done. They're not coming back." But
Jacob, what did you think of the match?
It was always, I just knew that considering all the chances Dortmund had in the first half, if they didn't capitalize on any of them, I mean, they're not going to win this game. I mean, come on. I mean, Adeyemi, maybe you should have had Marco Reus out there. I don't know. I told you guys, I never really, I guess I was a Dortmund hater. I never believed in them, and I was proven wrong a lot. I said 3-1. I thought they would coast. It wasn't as much of a coast in the first half, but I will say this. Aren't you happy he played Courtois?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that. That was going to be my next point. I would be like Shaq. I'd like to give an apology.
I know.
Because if that's Lunin in the first half, I don't know if he's as calm.
No, he would make those saves. Lunin, Lunin, the whole Champions League run was making those saves, but Courtois did play very well. So it's not like I still think he should have started Lunin, just in terms of the
flu didn't help.
He was
that was the add-on. He doesn't have to play now.
Before all this, I'm just saying I don't take back what I said. But Courtois had a really good game. And you should expect that from one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. But good for him. Last 5 matches shutouts. So there you go.
I also want to thank Real Madrid for winning or getting to this point, because Chelsea earned $5 million because of Eden Hazard's contract, which I guess there's something there where instead of
$5 million is like a penny to them.
I'll take anything. So we appreciate Real Madrid, even though I wish Eden Hazard's tenure there went a lot better. But that's beside the point. Again, I mean, this is what they do. This is who they are. This is their competition. And I mean, it's hard to put into words the performances. I'm in awe of Real Madrid, and now they got Mbappe. I mean, I'm not jealous because I don't hate Real Madrid. I just think it's wild that they have
kept Durant.
Yeah, it is. And I again, let me just for Mbappe, PSG. How stupid are you? All you had to do was sell him a year ago, 2 years ago, when you could sell him. You would have made a fortune. You would have made a fortune. Would they not? I mean,
well, did you read the stories about why they wanted to keep him and everything?
No, I did not.
Because of course PSG is under Qatari ownership. The World Cup was in Qatar in 22, and they wanted their Qatari club player to play in Qatar, so that's why they didn't want to sell him or let him go.
You're kidding me.
But they basically forced him to re-sign for an extra year. But
they made so much money. Oh my god! If they sold him, it would have broke the record by a mile. I honestly think that he could have went for 200 million. I know that's crazy, but we're talking about the best player in the world.
What even is the highest? Is it Neymar still?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
it might be.
Because Mbappe from Monaco to PSG wasn't. I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't.
No, because that was a loan originally.
The PSG was
right now. Yeah, it's still Neymar.
What was the fee?
It was 222 million euros.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, they could. I mean, PSG could have made that money.
Does Real Madrid have that money? Is their financial situation in a spot where they would be able to throw 250 million?
Let's be honest.
They threw nothing.
They can afford anything.
Yeah, they spent only 105 on Jude, and I say only because I honestly don't think I think that was a small sum of money considering how good he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think if you're PSG, obviously you want to retain an asset as long as possible, but if you can make money off of him, you should have. You could have rebuilt the club with all the money you could have gotten from selling him. So I just think it's stupid on their part, but good for Mbappe. This is his dream. Be happy that his dream is to play for Real Madrid and not Barcelona, although Barcelona wouldn't have been able to afford him anyway. But I would be thankful for that.
Can't wait to talk about Barca.
But yeah, I mean, great, outstanding weekend for Real Madrid.
Before we move on, I do want to give kudos to Dortmund for their run because, again, all of us in September said they were not getting out of the group of death. I think everybody had them beating PSV, but from that point on, it was pretty much everybody besides me, I think, for like one round had them not advancing. So this is a remarkable run. And I'm sure we'll see this. I mean, we saw it 10 years ago or whatever it was, 2013. I'm sure we'll see it again from this club in the next decade once. It feels like they have a good collection of pieces every 10 years and they go on a run like this. But to not take advantage of the chances, as Jacob mentioned in the first half, that's where the game was lost to me. And I think as a neutral, the minute it was 0-0 at halftime, I said this game is going to be won by Real Madrid. It had to be at least 1, maybe 2-0 in favor of Dortmund to me, because I think the biggest chance was Adeyemi going through on goal, and Courtois made himself as big as he possibly could, close down the angle, and by that point, the chance was gone. So that was the biggest one. I'm trying to think of the other ones off the top of my head. There were some shots from outside the box. Füllkrug had the chances early. Just a day where those chances don't go in. The one that hits the post doesn't go in that day. So Dortmund they were unlucky in the first half to not be ahead. All the numbers back that up, but Real Madrid found a way to escape the first half without giving up a goal. And at that point, it felt like Real Madrid was going to figure it out in the second half, and they did just that. The other point, too, just coming out of this Champions League, how on earth did Ancelotti end up at Everton? Just to think that the best manager in the world was at Everton 3 years ago.
I mean, his spell at Napoli was not very good. It wasn't bad, but it just was kind of like underwhelming. And it just his stock just wasn't that high at the moment.
Well,
it seemed like his star was sort of fading.
The club helps too.
Well, that's a big part of it.
But just to think that a club of Everton's stature, in comparison to all the other jobs he's had in his career, it's just thinking about that. You would never down the line, or especially like now, if you told me that at any point he would have managed Everton, it's just bizarre.
I mean, 10 years ago, would you have said Mourinho's going to manage Fenerbahce?
No.
There you go.
It's a good point.
I mean,
good counter. But
sometimes when your stock isn't high and you want to work, you work. It doesn't matter where the hell it is or whoever the hell it's for. So,
and for those of us watching on YouTube, Andrew finished number 1. Everybody picked Real Madrid besides myself, but nobody got a correct score, so there was not much changing. Andrew first, Ricardo second, and then me and Jacob level on 11. So we'll see how next year goes.
Do you guys remember your score predictions?
I said 1-0.
I'll pull them up quickly if you don't.
I know. I said earlier. I said 3-1 Real, but yeah.
I think I said 2-1.
You did say 2-1.
And I was because I was praying for the 2-1 once that full crew goal, and I was
were you? I don't know. Did you want it to get dicey?
I mean, maybe for drama.
Most Ricardo answer ever.
It is, yeah. We still would have won. Again, me being arrogant, I'm whatever, but it's fine. I'm just being selfish.
So glad that goal was taken off. Well,
anything else in the Champions League?
I'd like to thank everyone for this incredible achievement. This was really a tough run, but we made it on top. We won the double, so it's great. Let's hope for the treble next season.
All right. Sure.
Double entendre right there.
All right, well, let's continue the conversation with your club. It's gotten a lot better ever since. And as Fabrizio says, here we go, guys.
Here we go. Oh, my God. I'm telling you, this is the best Real Madrid weekend I've had in a long, long time. I mean, the scenes from the celebration and the Comunicado Oficial. You know shit is real when the Comunicado Oficial comes out.
When just the logo of Real Madrid and that white background.
I love Fab's
it's either good or bad, because remember when Ronaldo left, they did the same thing.
Yeah. No, exactly. But I remember when Fab initially tweeted that day, he's like, Real Madrid is preparing their Comunicado Oficial to release later. I'm like, oh, this is real. I'm like, that's when it set in for me. And then it came out. And boy, it's the best. I'm telling you, Real Madrid is the best press release in sports. It's the most. It gives the most chills. It's spine tingling. Because it's just one sentence usually. It's not long at all. It's just the play.
Kylian Mbappé will be a Real Madrid player for the next 5 seasons. I don't know if it was until 2029.
Right to the point.
The transparent logo that they clearly got off Google. Like it's perfect. It's the most low production value press release, and it's absolutely perfect, magisterial. But back to the football. This is it's the perfect fit. You just plop him right in as a striker, and it works perfectly. You can have Vinny and Rodrigo on the wings, basically play what you did when you had Benzema. except Mbappe even supersedes Benzema, which is great. Because we were already amazing, and now we're gonna be that much more. But now the difference is, I mean, the most interesting player in this setup now is Jude, because is he gonna go back to more of a center mid instead of a center attacking mid? You think? I don't know. Ricardo, what do you think about that? Your thoughts in general?
I mean, well, first I'll talk about when it happened officially. I was like, it was just a huge like weight off the shoulders, as if I had any say in any of this. But I was like, finally, it's over. After years and years of this dragging on, this saga finally ending, it's just like, take a deep breath. It's happening. But in terms of positioning, I don't know if it's that straightforward as, just throwing him in.
Yeah,
as striker,
that's true. With Carlo, like stuff changes every.
I was gonna say because Carlo could stick with this diamond midfield formation, and I guess Rodrigo would be the player out of favor. I don't know. I think it also could depend on the opponent, and I guess the tactic going into it. So that'll be interesting to see. But if it is a 4-3-3, Jude would definitely sit deeper, and I would probably play Camavinga as a 6, and then Valverde obviously as the
fly around everywhere.
Yeah, like it's just the one thing that I keep in mind with this is we've lost Toni Kroos, like one of the best midfielders that has ever worn the Real Madrid jersey. Like,
and he was still playing so well.
Yeah, he could have played another year or two, and honestly, I wasn't expecting to retire, but I just side note when that whole the last game happened and his kids were crying. I actually did shed a tear. So did my brother, and he's not emotional. So that's when it's like it meant a lot. But losing him, I feel like is going to be maybe a little bigger than we might think at this point in time. But in any case, we still have the talent, I guess, to kind of overcome that. It's a good problem to have, though, just generally speaking.
Oh my God,
Mbappe, yes.
I'm just thinking of everything. The addition of Mbappe just changes everything. And now, a side note too, I love Valverde getting the number 8 now.
Right,
it's the other deal. I absolutely in love. Fede Valverde had a great year this year. He's deserving of the 8. But man, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel. I mean, we just won the Champions League, and now you get probably one of the best forwards right now in football.
I think the best.
Probably the best. And who's just entering the prime of his career. I mean, he's only 25. And he wants to be here. He's been wanting to be here for years, and it finally happened. He's gonna play his lights out. Man, this introduction at the Bernabeu is gonna be incredible.
The biggest since Ronaldo, since CR7.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll assume it'll be after the Euros, of course. They can't do it
definitely.
now. But that's gonna be a scene. I'm sure the Bernabeu is gonna be packed for that. Oh man, I just cannot wait. And his first game will be the Super Cup. The Super Cup. Oh man, against Atalanta.
I don't mean to dampen the mood, but are you guys at all just even a smidge concerned that it won't work?
A little bit. I would say a little bit. But because it's like
maybe egos get involved. Maybe
that's what I was about to say. In terms of egos, that's where I'm a little worried.
That is a good point because he's had a lot of say in what.
What if, for example, he plays Vinicius and Mbappe together? Rodrigo's the one that's left out. Those two become the best of friends, and Rodrigo's the guy he's waiting to get a high five. You know what I mean?
That's a little harsh. I think that's a little harsh.
No, but I know. I'm thinking.
Rodrigo and Vinicius
worst case scenario. No, I know they're best friends. And my point is that what if Mbappe becomes his new best friend? I don't think this is going to happen. I don't, because he's too good. He's too talented. I don't think his ego is at the point where he.
Mbappe has always had good rapport with his teammates. I'm not worried about that at all.
I think the way it will work is if Carlo isn't there for much longer.
What I will say is I'm interested to see how he works with Florentino. That's interesting. That's actually interesting. I wouldn't be worried about team chemistry necessarily, maybe. I think Carlo, Florentino, sporting directors, I think that just the makeup of the team, how much say is he going to have? I think absolutely that would be a little concerning. But in terms of play, at least for next season, I mean, they should be the Champions League favorites. They should be. I mean, they just won. They just won, and they got the best player in the world. I mean, I'm not gonna change my opinion until something happens otherwise. Just like how I felt with Man City in the Premier League this year, I'm not changing that until they lose.
Can I just say, I mean, Ancelotti is hands down the best managing manager on the planet.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of counter. Well, I say I'm worried, but we're in good hands. It's Carlo. He's been there. He's managed Ronaldo, Bale, like I said, all these big names before, so he knows how to handle it. I think he'll be fine. He knows how to keep egos in check. So I'm on that note, I'm not too worried, I guess.
He has the best feel in the sport.
Yes,
definitely.
I would definitely agree with that.
So yeah.
Yeah, but as you guys said, big week, huh? Big week of things.
Oh my god, so many things, and they're not done. They're not going to be done. Who knows?
Stay away from Cole Palmer, please.
We're good.
No. You love taking Chelsea players.
I don't know how Cole Palmer would fit.
Doesn't matter. You took Rudiger, you took Courtois, you took Hazard. No more.
Kepa. Thank you, Kepa, for the.
We made them Champions League winners. That's all. Well, actually, they were already. No, I know.
Excuse me, 2-time Champions League winner, Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Yeah, we had to remind you that in the group chat. Excuse you.
Good point.
Him telling Lunin
that Bernardo was
going to shoot it straight.
Do you remember
changed everything?
Do you remember when they were arguing about that terrible call that gave you that game against Bayern where they ruled off the goal?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Which poor Thomas Tuchel. But where like there was like a big skirmish on the side, and Kepa was trying to like get in there and mediate Harry Kane. It was so funny. Oh, Kepa.
You sound like Nick Saban trying to say Kepa. Oh, Kepa.
Talk about someone I have very mixed feelings about.
Anything else in the Champions League in Mbappe? Wonderful. All right. Well.
I said this before the show. He should not switch off the number 9. He should take the number 9.
I agree.
And live with it. Do not switch to 10 when Modric retires. Do not.
I agree.
That'll be for Camavinga.
Yeah.
No. That's not a good number. I don't think 10's the number for Camavinga.
Well,
I need the 6 in the future.
That would look better. 10, you don't want a holding midfielder wearing 10. That just doesn't make any sense.
Don't matter.
It's gonna be a battle between him and Tchouaméni.
No, Tchouaméni's not getting
Two people that don't make sense wearing number 10.
No, I'm not talking about 10. I'm talking about 6. I'm talking about 6.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no. Not talking. 10 will be for Cole Palmer. No.
I'm telling you, they're gonna go after. No. You know they love Reece James. That's my other concern.
No, it's actually
and then he'll magically stay fit.
It's gonna be Podium Verts.
It'll be like the anti-Hazard. It'll be the opposite. It'll be like the reverse Hazard. He'll go to Real Madrid and he'll always be fit.
All right. Well, let's save the Chelsea discussion for a little later. Let's talk about another final that took place a little further back, and that was the FA Cup final. nobody gave Manchester United a chance. At least I didn't. I don't want to speak for anyone else, but
I feel like I give them a smidge in every big game. Just a smidge.
And
yeah.
well,
I didn't
you were right.
I did not say they're gonna win, so I'm not gonna take that much credit for it. Anyway,
it was a very weak squad for United. A lot of players were missing. A few had just returned from injury. I know Rashford was one of those. But they took advantage of a mistake. I believe it was Guardiola who headed the ball back to Ortega, mishap, and Garnacho scored. And then Kobe Mainoo, who's had an unbelievable 7 or 8 months, scores the second. And that was enough. Doku scored late, but it was just not enough for City. Reaction to that, and as a second question, does it for you move the needle enough to keep Ten Hag in the position? Jacob, I'll start with you.
Don't fire Ten Hag. You're just gonna fire another manager in 2 years. It's not worth it. That's number one. Number two, did anyone tell City that they had a game? I mean, they looked like they were sleeping the whole time. Hello, I mean, you're going to try and win the game? I mean, we're just going to have Ruben Diaz as an unused sub, and that's okay? Because it wouldn't be to me if I was a City fan. I mean, really? We're going to take De Bruyne out with in the 50s, and I know he didn't play very well, but still. We're going to take the guy who people think is one of the greatest midfielders ever out with 30-plus minutes left in the game? I mean, I don't know. It didn't seem like City wanted the game at all. Now, I will say this. You could argue whether the first 40 seconds of the game where Haaland got fouled by Martinez and maybe they should have called that.
No.
I think they should have taken a look.
No.
I don't know if it was a foul.
It's
But
not.
you could argue that maybe that's a penalty. It would have been a little.
Are you gonna get pushed by a 5'9" center back?
Well, I mean, you gotta go to the
6'3".
People love going to the ground. What do you want me to do?
That's true.
It's not a foul. I'm just saying.
But I don't really. I mean, it was a peak United performance where they didn't have much of the ball, but they did enough to win the game. No Casemiro at all. He didn't need. Apparently, there was a big dispute that once he learned that he wasn't going to start, he just said, "No, I'm forfeiting." I thought Amrabat was pretty decent. It wasn't a great performance, but it may have been his best, which is not saying much, but it may have been his best for United. He's on loan anyway, so I don't think it's going to matter very much. But I thought Garnacho was lively. I thought Bruno had a really good game. I know we've given Bruno a lot of stick. And you can argue whether he's worthy of being a captain or not, and that's debatable. But what's not debatable is that he's available,
Absolutely.
durable, and he usually gives it all. And he is loyal to the badge. He's prideful. He actually cares about playing for Manchester United, which is, I think, a problem. Which has been a problem in recent years. The thing is, it was also the vintage Onana game where he made some really good saves, and the goal he gave up was absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, like really? Like, but they held on, they got the job done. I feel like when Mainoo scores, he only scores like really good goals. I've never seen him score like a simple goal. Every goal he scores is like a massive magnitude. The one he scored to win the game against Wolves, the one he scored against Liverpool, this one, he's got a bright future. And look, it was not a good season for Manchester United. Everybody knows that. Goes without saying. But they did what they had to do to win. And I know Lisandro Martinez is not everybody's favorite player, but the few times where he was there, they are a much better team when he's playing.
Yeah.
They just were. I mean, I know Varane's leaving, but the year before when they had him and Varane together, they played really well. And they didn't really have that this year. I know people get mad at Ten Hag for making excuses, but he did have a ton of injuries. I mean, they could never play the same back line every week. All their left backs got injured. He had to play Dalot and Wan-Bissaka at left back. Casemiro, he had to play Casemiro at center back. He had a bad year from Rashford. So Mason Mount got hurt. So obviously they should have been better, but I don't know if they should fire him because to me, Is that really going to solve all their problems if the players remain the same? I'm not so sure.
Ricardo?
I mean, man, I didn't give him a chance at all. I mean, why would I? It's City. They're just way better on paper and obviously the better manager. So I just didn't expect City to be as flat as they were. And I don't know. People have said, like, oh, it's because they were celebrating the Premier League title the week before, or like, I don't know. They just ran out of legs because of it. I don't know.
I don't want to hear about that rest crap. No.
No, I don't either. Because that's BS too. But because United had the same amount, but they all played at the same time. There's no excuse on the rest front. But maybe this was enough to salvage Ten Hag's tenure there at United. I mean, they still haven't really said anything about whether or not they're going to sack him or not. So
they're doing their report. They're expansive, long.
What does that even mean? All the managers are
like, who's running this? The FBI? I mean, what are you trying to find out?
I mean, Ineos is basically the CIA.
I mean, it's a chemical company.
I mean, no, I'm just saying the name. It sounds like some government organization, Ineos. It sounds like a villain in Mission Impossible. This organization that, is trying to get Ethan Hunt.
Ethan Hunt.
But
maybe that's the plot of Dead Reckoning Part 2. Is Ineos is the creator of this AI that's and Sir Jim Ratcliffe is trying to take down Ethan Hunt for all his crimes against humanity. Anyways, I digress.
But yeah, I mean, Ten Hag also. I for all the things that Ten Hag has said, this is the one thing where I'm like, all right, I kind of am with you on this. Where he said after the game was like, if I'm not here, I'll go win somewhere else. Essentially, I mean, he won 2 trophies. I mean, it is a little arrogant.
I actually like that.
I love when he's arrogant. I love when American.
But like, he's not wrong because he has won 2 trophies for them. So in that sense, and I think if they were to keep him, which I feel like they are at this point because it's been too long, and most of the managers, at least the big ones, are gone. Like, who are you going to bring in at this point? I mean, oh god.
You talk about nightmares.
I mean, he wants that job.
Pochettino.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That's also a good one. But
and then
he debate.
What a fraud.
And this, like, if you are to keep him, you obviously have him on a short leash. And say one of these other guys like Tuchel or Pochettino are still out there, then maybe you resort to them as an interim. I don't know, but I guess the counter argument to that is, at that point, why even wait? I don't know. Why not just pull the plug? But they're as indecisive as I am, so whatever. I'm not the one running the club. I'd be horrible.
Maybe.
But they should have made a decision by now, is my point, I guess. But I feel like they're going to keep him. That's my feeling.
Andrew?
Very disappointed in City. I mean, man, talk about like just sleeping through a test. And the City is the team I'd least expect to sleep through a test. But because Pep's hanging out with Joe Mazzulla, maybe it makes more sense. But Erling Haaland, I mean, was he even on the pitch? I mean, what was going on there? Phil Foden was all right. But like, it just, for most of that game, they just seemed like they seemed too comfortable. It felt like they thought they were going to win this match nice and easy. They probably thought United is such a mess that, like, despite a decent last few weeks for United, just overall it's been such a mess. City maybe thought, hey, they're in their heads. We can play with that. But no, United came out to play. I mean, that Kobe Manu goal was sensational, as Jacob discussed, but it was a great performance for United. And I mean, I don't think Ten Hag, I mean, I was going out for his neck most of the year, but he did win the FA Cup, and he's won a trophy. So I mean, at this point,
won 2.
Well, I know, but like this season,
this year,
I'm talking. So like, I mean, you shouldn't let him go after winning a trophy this year. You shouldn't.
And they're in Europa next year.
By the way, Jacob, I'm surprised you didn't bring this up.
I was gonna later. This is karma for firing Pochettino because they would have made it if they didn't make that stupid move that we'll talk about later.
Well, because to add some context, because City lost, Chelsea is not in the Europa League. So now that spot belongs to Man U. So congrats.
Which I don't understand that at all. What like that? And I'm not even trying to say sour grapes. But like, what happened to if you're one of the top 6, you make the Europa League? Why is it that like I thought that was the standard?
I guess FA Cup has priority.
It depends. It depends.
The coefficient.
Yeah, exactly. So it's Italy and Germany have top 6 guaranteed. Yeah. So last year England had the coefficient, I believe. So
the reason why Chelsea's not into the Europa League is because all the English teams did underwhelming in European competitions this year.
Yeah.
So take your pick on blaming who. You can blame everyone. Liverpool, City, United.
Hey, at least you can enjoy Conference League, right?
If they don't win that, oh my God. Minimum they need to win that next year.
Minimum.
We'll see about that.
I'll get into that later.
Villa couldn't win.
That was embarrassing.
Villa? They're frauds.
I mean, in the Conference League, easily.
Villa does not scare me.
No, I'm just saying that they should have won the conference, but they got embarrassed by Olympiacos.
Well, I wouldn't put it past my club to do that, but anyway.
Oh, well, there you go. So it's not so easy.
But I'm not saying it's easy. I'm just saying that they need to do it. Anything less than
that. I mean, is that really changing much?
All right, fine. If you can't lose to a friggin' Greek team in the final if that happens next year, is that what you want? That's the answer. You can't lose to a damn Greek team. I don't care if Zeus himself comes back to life. I don't care. Win the damn Conference League.
If Zeus himself.
Cole Palmer misses 50 feet wide, and Raheem Sterling's gonna sleep in the middle of the pitch, and
if he's there,
if he's still on the club trip.
I don't know.
Good point.
Off to Fener he goes.
Yeah. Robert Sanchez will give up 5 easy goals.
Oh my God!
Who, by the way, Enzo loves.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
Anyways. Going back real quick to United, they finish it off. As I said, Ten Hag should not be fired. Give it one more year. See what happens. I'm gonna assume because Man U is pretty much the Cowboys, they'll have a good year next year.
well, hold on now. What define a good year then?
They'll be top. They'll end up top 4. Yeah, top 5.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think they will. They're top 6
somehow, and then they're gonna keep Ten Hag for the following year, and then it's gonna be another disaster year. So,
nah,
that's my feeling on Man U entering next season. But, yeah, kind of indifferent on this game.
I do think it's time to move on personally. To me, the thought process is: do I believe myself that Ten Hag can lead this team to what United's expectations are as a club historically, which is to win the league? I don't. Now, is that all on him? Absolutely not. As Jacob mentioned, this squad is really weak. There's a lot of people leaving. Casemiro's linked to a move to Saudi. Varane's out. You can go down the line. Amrabat's on loan. He's probably going to go back. I don't think they keep him. So, you can go down the list of players, and it's not a good squad. Not a squad capable of winning anything in the league. But I just don't know if Ten Hag's the person to continue this project personally. I think Pochettino's better for United. I think Tuchel's a better manager, but his antics off the pitch are worrying for me.
I mean,
So
we're talking
I think
antics. Ten Hag is,
right. So to me, now that Pochettino's available, that would be my selection as a neutral. If United's looking in that direction, I know there were reports of going into the FA Cup final that they were already in the process of sacking Ten Hag. But again, Ricardo said there's been nothing in the last week and a half. I haven't heard nothing. We're not reading anything about it. So maybe they've changed their mind. But there's a lot of players in the squad that are not at the level of Manchester United. So that's why I do think there should be some remorse for Ten Hag's struggles this season in the league. Because again, like Varane for a large majority of the season was hurt. Martinez was hurt. Maguire was hurt. I mean, Johnny Evans was a last minute
playing way too much.
Yeah, and he was a last minute addition to the summer, I guess, training and preseason tour, and then wind up signing a contract and playing, 20, 25 plus games probably in all competitions. So
too many.
Yeah, it's I don't feel very optimistic for Manchester United going into next season unless they have a huge overhaul in the squad. I think with or without Ten Hag, that needs to happen because this squad is pretty underwhelming. I don't think they're in a better position than Chelsea squad-wise. I don't think they're in a better position Tottenham-wise. These are squads that they have to jump in order to get back into the top four. And really, at this point, with or without Ten Hag, I don't know how I feel about them going in next season. But hey, you know what? 2 trophies in 2 seasons is a solid benchmark for a manager. So, we can say whatever we want about how their quality of play is for a full season, but he won 2 cups. So certainly needs credit for that achievement because it's not something that many managers can do. But anything else on Manchester United FA Cup? Awesome. All right. Well, now the popcorn should be put out because Jacob's going to give us his feelings on a managerial change that he doesn't believe should have occurred. Jacob, floor is yours.
Folks, I learned this news, at least half the news, on a plane.
From Musso.
Frickin' plane ride. Not from my own phone, from someone else's phone, because I didn't get the stupid JetBlue Wi-Fi to work. But that's beside the point. I knew I shouldn't have said if they fire Pochettino. I should have just kept my mouth shut. Because every time I friggin' do this, something bad happens. Just when everything was finally going good, on the up, looking right, looking like a real team, looking like there was progress, they have to frickin' gut the cord. Because they said, you know what? It's too good to be true. We need to screw it all up again. Why? And again, they parted ways. He got fired. Okay, like let's be honest. He got fired. And he got fired because I'm not gonna bend my knee to you morons and let you tell me to sign these players from freaking Baghdad so that I have to put them in my team. I mean, and I think this is part of it too. He said to them, don't you dare sell Conor Gallagher or Trevor Chalobah. You saw how he played the last 5 games of the year? You know who was in the team every week? Those 2. And again, I know what you're thinking. Oh, Jacob, you have cried bloody murder in regards to Conor Gallagher this year. And yes, that's true. And I'm not taking some of this stuff back because I stand by the fact that in the beginning of the year, he was garbage. And I'm not taking that back. That's the truth. And he got better as the year went on. He was bound to get better because he was on the pitch 94% of the time. So he was going to get better no matter what. But he got better. Trevor Chalobah, who I don't love, I don't think is that great, but he's been around. He loves playing for Chelsea. He understands. He gets the meaning of the badge. So let's sell him. Let's sell him because he's been here for more than 3 minutes. I mean, explain to me. God, I wish Todd Bowley. I mean, and again, nothing beats the fact that Todd Bowley did these stupid mock interviews where he goes to these stupid conferences of these wealthy business people, and then he goes, oh hey, 2.5 games, you look really good. But of course, he never, backed the manager. Todd, who got them to do that? Wasn't you? And this other guy that likes to hide in the shadows. His name's Bedad Egbali. You ain't getting away with murder, pal. Okay? We know who you are. You can't run and hide. You, just like your boy Todd Bowley, you are also responsible. Bedad, his name's Baghdad from now on. Okay? Baghdad Egbali is a disgrace. These guys couldn't run a freaking soup kitchen if their life depended on it, let alone a soccer team. I want to know when they have these board meetings, who the hell tells them that they have good ideas? Because whoever you are, you need to buy a mirror and say, gee, maybe that wasn't a good idea. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to spend 100 million on a guy who played for Benfica and had 4 good games at the damn World Cup in Enzo Fernandez. And by the way, do you realize, Chelsea board, that the team went 5-0 to end the season and Enzo Fernandez wasn't playing? You think that's a coincidence? I think not. What did you expect? This is me talking to the board. What did you expect this year? You were going to qualify for the top 4? You were going to win the league? You were going to beat Liverpool? You were going to beat Man City in a semifinal? Come on. Really? You went from 12th to 6th. I wrote some of these stuff down. They went from 44 points to 63 points. That's a 19-point improvement. They went from scoring 38 goals to 77. What do you want? What else was he supposed to do? Cure cancer? Stop ALS? I mean, what the hell do you want? What's good enough? How is it smart to go from a guy who's won stuff, who's been around, who knows how to manage young players, to another guy who got fired from Parma in Serie B? Not the top league, the secondary league. Lasted less than 20 games. But he brought Leicester City, who are filled with good enough players, out of the championship. Gee, what a great accomplishment. Did you hire him because he looks like Pep and he worked for Pep and he coached the Man City youth? Is that what wowed you? And by the way, they gave this guy a 5-year deal. They gave Poch a 2-year deal. I mean, it doesn't end, folks. It doesn't end. The clown car never runs out of gas. I mean, those 5 games that Chelsea played was some of the best soccer they've played in a long time. They had resilience. They fought hard. They beat decent teams. They all were celebrating goals together. They were playing hard for the manager. His vision was working because it takes time to build a team full of kids. When you don't have any real leadership on the pitch except from Thiago Silva, who's not there anymore. What did you think? It was going to be fixed in a day? You certainly haven't helped him. I mean, if anyone thinks that Chelsea are on the right path, you should personally go to a doctor and have your head examined for some sort of disease. Because this team is, I mean, Mauricio Pochettino, basically they said, hey, here's the key to the Titanic. By the way, we're at the bottom of the ocean. Can you get it back up to float? Gee, that's a really hard job, but I'm going to try. Firing him is like playing FIFA and you concede a goal in the first 10 minutes and you say, nah, start over. It's not fair. They gave Graham Potter a 5-year deal. How'd that work? Graham Potter, who had a losing record at Brighton. One of you jump in, please. I'm getting tired.
He's about to be the next Brighton manager.
Yeah, have fun. Have fun with more. Have fun with 11th place.
Oh, I will.
That's what's gonna happen. My team was on the cusp of being in the top 4. I firmly believe that. If the season was longer, and obviously that's an excuse, but let's say Enzo Fernandez got hurt earlier, or they gelled earlier, they would have been in the top 4. The second half of the year, they were the 4th best team in the Premier League. They were. And then I read, on top of everything, that this new coach, Enzo Maresca, likes Robert Sanchez. Hey, Enzo, did you watch Robert Sanchez last year? I know he can pass the ball with his feet, and that's so important to these stupid new systems that they have today. You know, the goalkeeper. No, we don't want him to stop the shot. We want him to be able to kick a long ball. Because that's, I guess, more important now than actually stopping the shots.
Jacob, the quote, Count Dooku in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Twice the Enzo, double the fool.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that Mauricio Pochettino said to them, this Enzo Fernandez thing, it's not going to work. You're out! That's what they said. They don't want someone that's actually smart and actually, knows what they're doing for a change.
I love this 180 character turn you've done on Poch from the beginning of the year.
Whoa.
Well, actually, from the middle of the year, because the beginning of the year, you're high on Poch.
And this is the problem. If they wanted to fire a guy in year 1, they could have done it then. When they couldn't beat Sheffield United, or they drew to frickin' Burnley, or they got killed by Arsenal 5-0. That would have been the time. Not after they win 5 in a row. I can't take it.
Jacob's excited for this summer.
Yeah.
And I will say this. I hope that this is the worst take I ever have in my life. I hope this is the most wrong I will ever be about a sports thing in my entire life. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I can come back in here and say, gee, Todd Bowley knows what he's doing. Enzo Maresca, what a diamond in the rough. They better win the Conference League next year. No exceptions. I don't care if 50 people are hurt. Mauricio Pochettino had the most injuries of any team in the league and made it to 6. They had games where they basically had an academy as their bench. I don't want to hear any more excuses. I don't.
Well, Jacob, maybe you'll feel better when you watch Chelsea this summer as they make their U.S. preseason tour.
Yeah, and the Cuckoo gets hurt again. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's not where I was going.
But, where are you going?
I was going to say you can catch them at Levi's Stadium against Wrexham, or you can catch them in South Bend at Notre Dame Stadium against Celtic. Maybe Enzo will change your mind there. Maybe it's facing Man City at Ohio Stadium in Columbus, with Brutus coming out to support Enzo. Maybe you need some positive reinforcement from something like that.
Positive
from college mascots.
You
College
want,
football.
you want me to be positive?
I'm just saying, maybe you need some college football mascots.
Oh, and guess
wearing
what? You know
Chelsea
what they
shirts.
do to here? Their big signing. How do you say his name? Tosin.
At her
How do you say it?
bio,
Yeah.
something like that.
Whoop de frickin' do.
Hey, he's in the age range we're looking for.
Yeah.
Anything above 22.
Yeah.
On a free. Don't worry.
On a free. Good point.
Don't forget that.
He's not. He's literally the same level as all the mid people that we have now.
How
What are
about
they gonna cancel each other out?
yeah, I'm sure you're gonna be excited for
Wesley Fofana's broken leg.
Somerville from Leeds, who fits your age range.
Not going there.
Ooh, who?
Cornetio Somerville.
Wait,
The
they signed the guy
21-year-old.
they signed the guy from Leeds.
No.
No, he's saying they're linked to them.
Oh God, make it stop.
He's decent.
I don't want him.
He's decent.
You know what they should have signed?
Yeah,
Mats
sorry.
Hummels. That's they should have signed. You know they should have signed Ward Prowse. That's they should have
All right,
signed.
fine. I'll give you that one.
I'll give you
Ward-Prowse
more
makes
pounds.
sense.
Almost no.
Thiago Silva replacement.
He's 30. He's gonna be 36.
Yes, exactly.
Leave after a season. No.
Oh my God.
You don't understand. You literally just
Don't
talked
understand.
About,
He's 30s.
Hold on now. You just talked about the importance of veteran leadership at Real
No.
Madrid.
There's a difference between.
Oh, no.
No, don't you dare. Luka Modric and Toni Kroos have been with the club for years.
Almost becoming right
It wasn't
in
like
after.
it wasn't like they signed them when they were 36. Okay?
They did this with Thiago Silva and it helped. Why not do it again? You need leadership.
That was a more settled Chelsea team.
I mean, yeah.
Hummels is not going to be attracted by this project.
Money talks.
Oh my goodness.
God, please.
Oh my. Yeah, you're really gonna back up the Brinks trucks for 36-year-old Mats Hummels.
They'll do anything. So I wouldn't put it past them. They signed Koulibaly. I mean, then they got rid of him.
How did that work out?
Not as bad. No, it was pretty whatever. He'll always have that amazing goal off that corner against Tottenham. So
And that's it. That is it.
that was the goal.
Sure.
That was their goal of the year last year. They only had 38. So, but listen, this is bad. This is as low as I can get with this team. And you know what? No, I'm not going to say that because I know it can get lower. So I'm going to stop that right there because I know that they'll do something over the summer that will make me even more angry. I won't put it past them. The bottom line is that what can go wrong will go wrong. If anything's going right, they have to screw it up.
Would you like Mr. Injury-prone Michael Olise?
No. I don't want Michael Olise. No. Let United have him. I don't want him.
I mean, another 22-year-old for you to enjoy, you know? Chelsea's just going to be Mr. 22.
Yeah, what a great model for success. I think the thing is Todd Bowley is I think one of the owners of the Dodgers. Did he learn nothing from that? I mean, they don't have a bunch of little kids running around.
I mean, have you seen the Dodger Stadium concourses?
He did.
Oh God.
He was there.
That's beside the point. Again, forgive me for taking up all this time, but oh my God, it does. I mean, it just gets worse and worse and worse. I'm gonna savor those 5 games. It's gonna be like the best month that they're gonna have for the next 10 years. They're the Mets of soccer.
Oh, don't you dare!
Actually, no, I take that back.
Don't you dare!
I take that back. They've won stuff in this century.
There you go. There you go.
I take it back.
I don't want to hear a pity party from you about Chelsea. I'm sorry. I do not. I cannot. Your team literally won the Champions League 3 years ago. I don't want to hear a pity party. Okay.
Okay, what's happened since then?
It's 3 years. It's not like it's been 20, 30 years or 40 years like the Mets. Insane.
Todd Bowley is the Steve Cohen of soccer.
No, that's true.
Sure.
That's true. Yeah, it's recklessly spend money.
Anyway, I don't want to waste any more time with this, so let's move on.
All right. That was.
I don't feel better, but thanks for letting me get off like this.
I was hoping you would.
No, I think I actually feel worse talking it all out, which I didn't.
All right. Well,
anyway,
Andrew, we'll give you the limelight. Brighton's made a change. How do you feel about this one?
Well, I won't be as animated as Jacob because, unlike him, I didn't find out on an airplane, and also I was kind of expecting this. Like, you just especially like the last 2 months, it was kind of made clear, hey, might be parting ways, and the Zerbi was, say what you want about him. Just kind of given a raw deal this year, with the Asian Cup and AFCON happening. In the middle of the season, losing your two best informed players at that point, Vidingra and Mitoma. It was they had a rough stretch. Injuries didn't help. But he clearly had lost faith in Tony Bloom once he realized that he didn't have as much say in the roster as he initially thought he did. He realized, hey, this ownership group doesn't want to spend that much money, and I want an ownership group that can back me, and a team that I want that fits my tactics and play style. So I get it from his perspective. Now Brighton is going to be 11th next year, so I am fully prepared for Graham Potter to return, the proper English manager himself, Graham Potter, and do his dirty work with this club and muck it up for 2 years until he leaves for Chelsea once again. After we rehabilitate him.
He's going to be the apple of Sir Jim's eye, I'm telling you.
Like 25, 26, Brighton's probably going to end up 9th, and Chelsea is going to fire Enzo, N0, and they're going to hire Graham Potter, and they'll be like 13th the following year. But yeah, I'm just expecting failure. I'm expecting pain. I'm expecting Zerbi to potentially take a break for a year. I don't think he's going to lunge for a job. I mean, I think Tuchel will absolutely lunge for a job, but I don't think Zerbi will, based on what he's said. He's mentioned wanting to take a break for some time now. So, just I'm indifferent. He was definitely an amazing year. Like at this point, 2 years ago now. The greatest Brighton year ever. It's under his watchful eye, and we got a lot of money from that season. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Todd Bowley. Thank you, Fenway Sports Group. I mean, it's sad that it's come to this point, but we should have known it was going to happen. I'm just sad that we're gonna have to see more Lewis Dunk, who somehow because he's a Gareth Southgate guy made the Euro squad. God,
Over Harry Maguire.
No Fikayo Tomori. Maguire's better than him.
That's what I'm saying.
Maguire's hurt. That's
so, and Fikayo Tomori is better than both of them, by the way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He plays in
Italy. But he doesn't
so
play in England.
But he doesn't play in a good league because he plays in Italy.
Yeah, AC Milan. Oh, no,
I've never heard of it.
It's not on the south side. No, I'm hoping for a healthier year next year. I'm glad I don't have to see that terrorist Ansu Fati step on the pitch again. Him missing wide open empty sitters. I'm glad I don't have to see that anymore, and I can happily root against him at Barcelona, based on everything he said. I'm hoping they don't sell João Pedro. I don't think they will. But that's another man who's being linked to Barca somehow. Barca's being linked to so many players right now, and they can't afford any of them. So
they're gonna waste all their money on overrated Ev.
I'm not just worried. Big Ev,
most overrated player in the world right now.
He had a rough year this year. Evan Ferguson. Talk about disappointing players.
Talk about one-game wonders.
I wouldn't say one-game wonder, but
how many? He scored like 3 of his goals in one game, and how many did he score? Like 6.
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough year. A solid start to the year, and then it just totally fell off.
That was
he's a young player.
Team too.
Yeah, he's a young player. I'm sure. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna figure it out, but
I mean,
it's gonna be a lot tougher now.
You gotta give him time.
Yeah,
I just think we need to calm down with Evan Ferguson. Like, stop like pumping.
I think a lot of people have calmed down.
I know, but the problem was that he had this great game, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, the next great, Brighton player, blah blah blah." And then it was.
I don't think anyone. I mean, I was topping up Evan Ferg, but like I wasn't saying,
That's not even you. There's just so many people were like, "Oh my god."
I wasn't saying he was gonna be Wayne Rooney. I wasn't saying that, but now João Pedro, on the other hand, that's a player.
Wayne Rooney at Everton the second time.
No, João Pedro. Here's the thing: if they sell him to Barca, I wouldn't be. I mean, I'd be upset about him being sold to Barca, not just because of Madrid having to play João Pedro in a Clásico, but also because I would be worried about Brighton actually receiving the money from Barca. That's a crime organization, and I don't think they'd actually be able to receive the money. But back to the Zerbi. Knew it was going to happen. Not as upset about it because I prepped myself for it, unlike Jacob, who was thrown out karma and all these.
That's an unnecessary shot.
I'm not throwing a shot. I'm just saying I was prepared. The last 2 months, you couldn't have expected Poch getting fired. Let's be honest. After the last 5 games, I'm not saying it's not a shot. I'm just stating facts.
I'm sorry.
Stating facts.
You're right about that. But I should have known better. But anyway.
But no, I'm just. It would really pain me if he went to another English club this year and just succeeded right away. That's all I gotta say. But see what happens. I thought he was gonna end up going to the next job we were gonna talk about here in this episode, but they found their guy really fast. It was a shocking hire. If we want to transition to that.
I one thing about the Zerbi, has anyone's stock fallen so far in a year?
I don't know if it really has.
I don't know.
It's not really stock. I hype.
A year ago, he was the apple of everyone's eye. He was like, oh my god, this is the next great world football manager. And then it's just like, I mean, I think he got a bit of rather. The problem with him is that, like, you're at Brighton, pal. Like, what do you think this is? You're gonna spend all the money in the
but they just. I get it from his perspective because they made so much money from recent transfers that, like, you would hope that they take that money to reinvest in the club, and they really didn't take proper action to do that. So I get that from the Zerbi's perspective. It wasn't like he was expecting them to spend like City, he wasn't expecting that, but just, reinvest a little bit. I mean, it's like the only move they really made was, 40 mil for João Pedro, Ansu Fati on loan, and then they were like, we had our day.
And they missed out. They missed out on Kudus, right?
Yeah, they missed out on Mohamed Kudus, who went to West Ham. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I got with this one. But I'm curious to see who they hire because they wanted McKenna. They didn't get Kieran McKenna from Ipswich. They've been linked to. They were linked to Graham Potter. I don't know if that's going to go anywhere. They'll bring him back. So, job still up in the air. So we'll see what they do.
All right, let's do a quick whip around of all the different jobs. We're going to start actually with Barcelona just to get Ricardo's point of view before he heads out. Xavi was obviously going to leave. Then they decided that he was going to stay out of nowhere after doing a little better than expected in the Champions League, and then they went back on that again, and now he's in. So
Xavi,
Ricardo,
Billy Martin.
Ricardo, I'll start with you. Where do you think this ranks among the options they had?
Oh God. Can I just say, you guys saw the TikTok, right? When he was introduced, it's like that, like 5'10", blue eyes, and whatever the rest of it is. Oh my God, this is who's running over your team.
It's not his fault. They made him do that.
Oh, I know. I feel bad for him. But
Yeah.
But I'm saying this ownership, this whoever's running the damn club, what a
joke,
clown show, man. But oh my, it was so cringe. I mean, like this just sums up Barca in
such a
really one video. With regard to, I mean, you still had Poch out there, I guess, but I don't know why. I don't know why Barca were so quick to hire Flick. I mean, he's
a good manager.
He's better than Xavi, I think.
I think
he's fine, but also that
his run at Bayern is the best they've looked since Pep left.
That's true, and sure the national team wasn't exactly great, but I mean his selection with the national team again was questionable. So, but I can see
he should have never taken. The problem was he never should have taken that job. He shouldn't have. He never should have left Bayern.
But my point is that maybe Barca shouldn't have been so eager to. I mean, like again, he's a good manager. I'll give him that, but maybe they could have at least interviewed some other candidates potentially. But then the other issue, which we've talked about, is their financial situation. It's like, well, how much would you have been able to pay other guys like Pochettino and Tuchel and all these other big names? So I think, as funny as it was, the whole introduction and stuff, I mean, I think it is solid. Someone who has experience, and obviously the Champions League run was amazing for Bayern, but I mean, it's a tough situation for him to be in, and Xavi kind of firing shots when he pretty much was leaving was like, this is a hard job. Essentially, he's like
he's right.
He's gonna suffer, which I mean he is, because they don't have the resources financially, and some of their players are aging. Lewandowski specifically, it's gonna be really tough to bring in players and sell players. You got to figure out. I don't know. Maybe this is the year they sell the young. That could be, but
they're not letting him out of jail.
He also just loves playing there, so
I don't think he wants to leave.
That's also part of it.
But the other thing is, you have to sell players to bring others in.
They need
it's like the Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street thing. I'm not effing leaving. That's De Jong.
But I'm saying it's just a really, not a great situation there. Just all around for Hansi Flick to walk into.
Well, the other issue now is you guys see this where they can't register him or his staff. They can't afford to register him.
Wait, I didn't see that. I didn't see that.
I didn't know.
I did see that. It's just a mess, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful.
You two must love this.
They're waiting. Here's the deal: they're waiting for two payments. They're waiting for a $109 million payment.
Oh my God!
From one of their investors who bought 49% of Barca Studios.
Oh my God!
And then they're waiting for a big payment from Nike. And once that happens, it's going to even out the balance sheets, and then they can register Hansi Flick.
What about this? They need more from Spotify. Is that it too?
They need it's just they're so
they need 3% of the Rolling Stones album sales.
The OVO logo.
That's so bad. Oh man, I didn't realize it was. I knew it was bad, but not that. Like really, wow. That's pretty pathetic on their front. But it's solid hire overall.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's an upgrade, and I think he's a good manager. And here's the thing: he has a good relationship with Lewandowski already, so I think that helps. I will say the one thing with Xavi, and yes, he was volatile, he was nuts, but I think the young players played really hard for him. I think they really liked him. I think he seemed like he got a lot out of Rafinha, who I don't think is that good, and I think kind of played above his talent level with Xavi's motivation. So, I mean, he'll manage Spain in like a year or two, and he'll be fine. He's still one of the greatest players to ever lace up cleats for Barcelona. So, I'm glad that I'm almost glad that he didn't do worse there, because I think that would have tarnished his reputation, and he doesn't deserve that because of how good of a player he was. So, from that standpoint, I think he'll be fine.
I can't wait to hear Xavi cry about losing in the World Cup. He's going to complain about the U.S. pitch. He's going to be like, we're playing on turf in South Bend.
He's going to say the uniforms are too tight.
Yeah. No, he's going to, one wrong slip in Arrowhead, and he's going to go nuts. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Xavi in the national team would be cinema, just like how
it would be so Spain. It's the most Spain thing in the world.
Would be. Yeah. He'd be part of the Catalonian free Catalonia.
Or he'll go to Villarreal and he'll win the Europa League.
He cannot go to another club in Spain.
No,
I think not. It's either Barcelona national team or somewhere else in Europe. He's not managing another club in Spain.
Fair enough.
Imagine if he managed Real Madrid. That'd be so funny. So bad, but so funny.
Just to quickly add on to the conversation about Flick, the gap between Real Madrid and Barcelona has never been greater for me. It's going to be a difficult summer for Barcelona. I know they want to integrate João Felix and João Cancelo back into the squad after their loans expired. Again, I don't know how that works out financially, but especially Cancelo, they really do need him in my eyes. Felix he had a great start, but kind of trickled down the stretch of the season. I don't really think he was as potent offensively as he was earlier in the year. So we'll see.
He's not that good. That's the problem. And no one wants. You just need to admit it. He's just not.
Well, he had a decent stretch.
I thought he was pretty.
No, but he'll fool you. He'll fool you into thinking that he's a world-class player, and he's not.
I don't think he really wanted to be at Chelsea. That loan spell, which I think is the reason you hate him, Jacob.
I just don't think he's very good.
But I thought he wanted to be at Barca.
And I think he wants to be there going forward.
Yeah. The rumor is he'll do another loan because of the financials.
Yeah, because it's impossible. I mean, Atletico Madrid wanted like 100 and something million to get him out of there, which is just not possible for Barcelona right now.
It's not worth it for him.
He's also not worth. He's not worth that kind of money.
A loan makes sense for that. Also, keep in mind they'll have Gavi back after his injury.
They definitely missed him last year.
Yeah, so and talk about bright young players in the world. He's up there in the midfielding position. But no, I think it was a good Barca. I mean, for what they had to deal with, it was a good Barca year. Hansi Flick is, I think, just as a person, I feel like he's just more bearable than Xavi.
But he has a little
he's got a little spunk.
He's got some fire in there.
Yeah, he does. Yep. He does have it.
He's not afraid to chew people.
But it's not unreasonable.
No.
Which I think
he picks his moments.
Which I think is Xavi's problem. Yeah. Xavi just is always angry about something. He always has something to say about someone or something.
It's like Walmart. It's like Walmart Gattuso.
Yeah, and it's never the right. And it's never the right thing to say. It's never the right thing either, because then he just gets embarrassed. Him with Luis Enrique in the Champions League was fire. It's. I don't know what. I think he'll, like the Zerbi. I think he'll take a break. but I think Spain. I think that makes a lot of sense if something happens there. But you'll need a poor Euros run from them, probably for something bad to happen. But.
And it's been a revolving door at Spain.
Yeah.
So I agree, Jacob. I do think that's certainly a possibility. Just to finish on Barcelona, I do think finding a Lewandowski, another striker that they can rely on past next season is something they need to look into doing this summer. And Victor Roque was supposed to be an option there, but Xavi did not play him at all. And I know there was a lot of, beef per se going around that situation. So we'll see what they do.
I wonder what happened there.
Yeah. So I think that's an important position to potentially look to add in a player for next season. But
real quick, another Xavi problem. I think he overreacts to training. Someone will have a bad training day, and he'd be like, "You're off the squad for 2 years." I
kind of admire it. High standards.
And it really took him far.
I'm kidding.
But yeah. Anyways, let's move on from that fraud.
Sure. So let's move back. A player who was in the Prem, a coach who was in the Prem, who got relegated from the Prem.
Oh, don't get me
started. Is now at Bayern Munich. Vincent Kompany, of all people. Jacob, I know you got a lot of opinion on this.
Listen, Enzo Maresca to Chelsea's bad, but this, I want to know how many Burnley games did the Bayern Munich brass watch this year? I want them to turn on the second half of Chelsea Burnley at the Bridge, and they'll say, "Wow, what an inspired performance from 10 men." And they'll go, what a job. And they'll say, "Oh, wait, it was Craig Bellamy leading that team because Vincent Kompany got sent off." That's the best they looked all year. And it was without him there. This is a man who is so stubborn with his system that he wouldn't change it, even if it meant keeping his team from getting relegated. So I guess they had Stooges, who was stubborn. They got another stubborn guy who's just a lot worse at managing. So if that's what they want, then bravo. You really hit the jackpot on that one. They should have never fired Nagelsmann. That was where this all started. They overreacted to that. Never lost a Champions League game, I think. I could be wrong, but I think he had a really good Champions League record. And I don't know what the hell Bayern want. What the hell do you want from a manager? Because I can't figure it out. Vincent Kompany? Really? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I know that, listen to me, you could do better than Vincent Kompany. I'm sorry. You're Bayern Munich, not the 20th best team in Germany. He was at Anderlecht, or however the hell you say it, in Belgium, or I think that's in Belgium, and Burnley. So yeah, the natural progression, I guess, is Bayern Munich. Come on. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it will work. Maybe he really is a visionary. But I really don't. If I was a Bayern fan, I would be irate at my team.
Andrew?
Jacob nailed it 100%. Absolutely insane that Vincent Kompany somehow ended up at Bayern Munich. It's almost, I would consider it malpractice. God, Nagelsmann was literally right there. And they had, I don't know what happened to strain that relationship necessarily, behind the scenes, but the fact that they go from that to Vincent Kompany, and who knows? Maybe this is a situation where, talent can outweigh the quality of a coach. Who knows? But I just, first impression, I absolutely despise this. is absolutely not deserving of this level of a job.
That too does not even deserve this job.
There's so many other managers out there who are free, who are way more deserving than Vincent Kompany. Hell, I'd give this job to Enzo Maresca before I gave it to Vincent Kompany. But God, I'm so blown away that the Bayern board decided on this. But maybe were they trying to appease Harry Kane somehow here? Is there a Harry Kane thing here?
I don't know if I wasn't thinking of it that way, at least.
I haven't thought about the Harry Kane angle with this at all.
Maybe Vincent Kompany somehow is a Harry Kane guy. I don't know. I'm trying to think of reasons, and there's nothing in my head.
I can't think of any. I really can't. I mean, what, he speaks German? Is that it?
He played in Germany, so I'm sure he speaks German.
This is like when Juventus hired Pirlo, but maybe worse.
Different, because obviously Pirlo had played at Juve.
I know, but he had very little experience, and he was set up to fail. I don't think the company set up to fail, but
no, I don't think so.
I really don't get this at all.
Like I said, Bayern will end up having a good year just because they have a ton of quality. They'll figure it out. Yeah. But it's just, oh man, they could have had Poch. They could
have waited on Poch. Yeah.
I thought Zerbi would have been an amazing fit.
He'd be better than freaking Vincent.
Maybe Zerbi had said he wanted a break.
Yeah,
it's possible they were interested. I do think this group of players has got talent. I'm not worried about the group per se. They do need to make some additions. I know they're probably going to lose Davies. I'm trying to think of anyone else that's going to potentially leave. But really, it feels like it's going to be the very, very similar group next season to the one we saw this year. I mean, Kompany, the problem was he went to the Premier League trying to play the same style he played in the Championship, which we all know never works. And, it's an aggressive, attacking-minded style of football. So that does suit what Bayern wants to do. I think there is a scenario where this does work because of the players he has at his disposal. The expectation for Bayern next season is to win the league. They need to get back to that position. Do they move the needle with Kompany? No. But I do think that this group is good enough to win the league, barring what coach is on the sideline. It's just going to largely depend on how Leverkusen can balance the Champions League and the league for the first time as a group. So we'll see. I don't think this is and again, you guys are both spot on. His resume does not deserve getting the Bayern job in any era, especially this one where they've been so dominant. But his style does suit what they like to do. So we'll see how this group of players can gel under Kompany's tactics and his tactical setup.
Yeah, and I just want to make it clear. I think Jacob could succeed managing Bayern with this group of players. Like it literally could take. I mean, Joe Mazzulla. Okay, here, the perfect comparison. Joe Mazzulla is coaching the Celtics, and he's in the NBA Finals because he has an amazing group of players. Vincent Kompany could win the Bundesliga next year while being one of the worst coaches in club football. It just shows. I mean, if you have the talent, in soccer, I mean, sometimes that can outweigh the tactics. Now, when you have a master tactician like Pep or Carlo Ancelotti, that can be different. But you can get by without having an elite manager. So who knows?
Yeah, that's enough Bayern. Let's quickly move over to Italy. We get two big changes. Allegri's out at Juve, and Thiago Motta, who did incredibly well this season at Bologna, got them into the Champions League, is taking a step up to manage Juve, who finished third. Obviously back in the Champions League next season, which is a positive. But Allegri, for me at least, it was time. He had won Coppa Italia this season, but style of football just really doesn't suit what Juve wants to do. I just think it's a positive move. But Andrew, I'll start with you. What do you think of this one?
I was never the biggest Allegri guy. It just I always joke about terrorism ball. Thomas Tuchel's the king of terrorism ball. I mean, once Brighton gets Graham Potter, I'm gonna have a full year of it. With one of my clubs, but Allegri is another suspect in this crime organization, and I'm glad Juve saw the light. I think Motta is an extraordinary hire. I think overall in Italy, a lot of the top clubs, their managers, they just had disappointing years in general, just in Europe, and a lot of those teams needed changes, and a lot of them are making changes. So I think this was the right move. Motta was one of the few bright spots at the club level in Italy. So it makes total sense for Juve to go after him. And he fits in with the players that they currently have, which is great for Juve because, they don't really want to buy players at this moment. They're dealing with some financial issues themselves. So it's, I think, a seamless fit. It makes sense. Out of the current group that we're talking about today, this is probably my second favorite behind Hansi Flick. So I'm fine with the hire. I think it's a good move.
Jacob?
I disagree. I know Allegri doesn't play sexy soccer. I get it, but I don't know. I thought Juventus had a good bounce back season compared to the tough circumstances that they had to deal with last year. I think that the Italian league has gotten a lot better since they were on top, which I think that people need to understand. I understand that Juve, it was like, if they don't win, it's terrible, but Inter's really good. AC Milan's really good. They're really the teams around Juve have gotten a lot better. So I thought they had a decent year. I understand Allegri's a hothead, and he did not act very appropriately his last game in charge of the Coppa Italia final. I'm not defending how he acted, but I don't know. I'm an Allegri guy. I think he gets decent results out of people. I think he pushes them hard, and it's not the most fun way to play it, but you win a lot of games with this. And I would have taken him to replace Pochettino. I really would have. I would have loved them. I like old school, rugged Italian managers like him, like Conte, because a lot of them win. And listen, Thiago Motta, good story, getting Bologna in the Champions League. My big question is, how much patience do they have with him? And if he can handle, this is a big jump. Bologna to Juve is a massive leap. To me, it is. So, and listen, Thiago Motta, I get it. He's got a lot of radical ideas. He said, he quoted as saying that I play a 4-3-3, but it's like a 2-7-2, whatever that means. So we'll see. I thought that he had an impressive run at Bologna. I don't think it was otherworldly, but I guess he probably doesn't have the great players there. So we'll see. But if Juve want to really rebuild, I guess this is the right manager to do so. But if they want to go back to winning Italy again, I don't know if this is the guy that I'd want. But, we'll see.
Well, Jacob, here's the other thing you got to consider with Italian football, too. They love the flashy stuff. I wonder if that was a factor, too. Just Allegri's terrorism ball.
But they also love that. That's what's won them a lot.
But not the last 20 years necessarily. It's in that league. They love the flair. They love the sexy. Thiago Motta is coming in with new ideas that I think they are very interested in. They love the innovative stuff there, and I think it's partly why Juve made the move. And it just makes sense culture-wise in that country. England, totally different story.
Yep.
I think I'd probably agree with you if we're talking England. I'd much rather have Allegri in England. But in Italy and Serie A, Motta makes a lot of sense.
I do think the player for me that is going to benefit the most from this hire is Vlahovic. I do really believe that. 21, 22, between a half season at Fiorentina and half a season at Juventus, he scored 29 goals. We haven't seen that version of him in moments we have. It's been very spotty. But I think in an attacking, flexible team, I think he's going to flourish. I think we're going to be reminded as to why he was considered one of the next great strikers in Europe. Still very young. He's only 24. Yeah. He'll turn 25 in January. I think Vlahovic is going to have one of those seasons where he's in contention for the Golden Boot in Serie A, along with Lautaro Martinez. I think Juventus is in a much better position moving forward. Because, again, Allegri's style of play was just at a point where it needed a change. This group is solid. I think there's a lot of talent, but I think they have a better chance of, closing the gap on Inter with Motta than they did with Allegri. I think it had gotten to a point where it's just burnt out for me. And, there's a path. I was talking about it with Andrew before we started. I mean, there's so many different managerial changes in Italy this summer already. And it's like 8 or 9 teams are already looking for a new manager or have now hired one. So there's a path for them to be that second team behind Inter next season for me. I don't know how close the gap will be, but this is a good move for them. I'm excited for Vlahovic, and we will see if Juventus can, potentially make things interesting in the title race next season.
Well, this was my point. Like, other than Inter, everyone else is replacing managers. All the other top clubs. So I mean, that's I mean,
fascinating.
Imagine that happening in like England. Imagine where it's like, Pep stays at Man City, but then Arsenal, Liverpool, United, they all change managers at the same time. Like that's what's going on in Italy right now, and it's absolutely insane. That's why I said it's a poor manager year. The other thing with Juve that I find interesting too, and this is not to spread U.S. propaganda, I really don't mean it at all, but looking to sell Weston McKennie, who had the most assists for them this year. I mean, I don't know how much they'll get back. Probably between 20 and 25 mil is what I was reading, but I think he's vital. He should be vital in their plans. He was massive in getting that offense going this year. I don't think they can afford to lose him. So I don't really get why they want to sell him. I mean, I know Wes is looking for more money in his contract, and they want to lowball him. But I think that should be a priority for them, is to re-sign McKennie somehow. But other than that, I mean, under their current structure, if they're able to re-sign McKennie, I think they'll be just fine with Thiago Motta.
Yeah, I agree. But let's move on to another team in Italy. As Jacob mentioned, one of his favorite Italian managers is back in the game. Antonio Conte back in Italy to Napoli. Jacob, your thoughts?
Buckle up. This is going to be a fun, bumpy ride. Like every Antonio Conte position is. There's going to be a big jump. I can promise you that. Antonio Conte is the definition of you want to. This club's broken. I'm going to fix it. I know you're saying, "Oh, Tottenham." Tottenham is garbage. So I don't really. You can't fix what's broken already. You can't fix something that's permanently damaged. So I don't get mad at him for that. I never got mad at him because he went on a tirade. Everything he said was true. So I don't really want to get mad. Everything he said in that explosive tirade where he lost his mind was all true. So, and remember, the last time he was in Italy, he made Inter a really good team, a really, really good team that won the Serie A. And he's the reason Chelsea spent almost 100 million on Lukaku, because he revitalized a guy who looked like he was broken, made him believe in himself again, and turned out 2 incredible back-to-back years. So Conte, whether you like him or not, he gets results. He gets a lot out of people, and I hope he can last there a while. I could get concerned because their owner, I think his name's Aurelio De Laurentiis, is a fiery guy who is known, has had a lot of good managers there and has clashed with a lot of good managers. He had Carlo, he had Sarri, he now has Conte. He's not afraid to mix it up with someone. So we'll see how that goes. But I think this is very good for Napoli. This is a home run. Considering the people that you had after Spalletti left, this is a massive upgrade, in my opinion. And I'm excited. I think that they're going to take a big jump next year. And if they have Osimhen there, let's say he stays, again, you're shaking your head, whatever. If he's there, or if they get Lukaku, which is what Conte wants, they're going to be better next year. That's a guarantee to me. They will be a much better team. Don't underestimate Antonio Conte. I'm just going to warn you. Don't do it.
Napoli left such a big just stink in the air after this past season that it's tough for me to think that Antonio Conte will be able to do a 180 in a year.
Maybe not a year, but
I can see a few years, but like I can't see it right away. Especially if Osimhen's gone, which I think is, I'm giving it 75% chance. Am I feeling
even higher?
And the Osimhen meter, I even higher. Yeah, it's probably 75-80% for me. He's such a vital part of what they do, and the fact that, I mean, for me, their board has in their, I mean, everything surrounding that club has done such an awful job. Everyone, I mean, the social media, the board, I mean, oh my God, they've literally antagonized their best player in a year. In a year.
It's not good.
So what, for me, that's the problem. Conte won't be able to fix that. Conte can't fix that. No, he can't.
He can fix the culture.
He cannot fix problems behind the scenes with higher ups in the club. And he can't control social media. You think Antonio Conte is going to be sitting there on his phone creating these Instagram reels?
Well, he reposts on his Instagram story every person that congratulated him on the Napoli appointment. So.
No, but yeah. Other than that, you think he'll be posting hype videos?
No, but he'll tell them. He'll put the fear of God in you. I promise you that.
Oh, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying there's so many
in terms of the problems off the pitch.
Yeah.
He can't solve all their problems, but I think he can solve a good. The bottom line is this: they're going to be better off with him than they were last year.
Okay, that's fair.
It can't get much worse.
It's going to get better. It's going to get better. I promise. It's going to get better.
That's fair.
They hit a home run with him. A home freaking run hiring him.
I don't know if I can. I don't think they'll be in Champions League position next year.
No.
I don't think they'll be in the following year. I could see Europa League potentially, but it's hard for me to see a big jump from Napoli next year, like you're saying. But Christian, what are your thoughts?
I think this is good for him, especially because you're looking at a guy that's won 4 Serie A titles with 2 separate clubs. So he's familiar with Italy. I think that's a better fit than Tottenham was. I mean, it is pretty telling that Napoli was the worst reigning champion in terms of finish and where they finished on points after winning the Scudetto in the history of Italian football. There's a lot of problems there, not just the I don't know if you can hear my dog. You probably can. Yeah, now you
that's
definitely
fine.
can.
Love Lola.
It's a weird situation. Okay, someone's gonna have to.
It is a weird
okay.
situation. I'll take it. It is a weird situation, but Christian was right that Antonio Conte knows Italy. And I know it's a different situation, but I just want to remind you guys, Chelsea, the year before he took over, were coming off a year where they won the league. They finished 10th. What did Antonio Conte do? He won the league. This is similar.
You're sitting on nostalgia. You're sitting on memories. I that happened.
History repeats itself.
Yeah, but it's totally different situation. Napoli. Napoli side is not nearly as talented as that Chelsea side.
No.
He's a miracle worker. He'll figure it out.
It's gonna have to be a miracle to
he works miracles.
In the top 4 next season.
This year, 41 points behind Inter.
And they're losing their best player.
Bring it on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
this is who Chelsea should have brought back, but that's another story.
It's a great hire, but this situation is much bigger than just the manager.
Yeah, that's my whole point.
We will see. He's got a lot of work to do this summer to get them competitive again in the Serie A title race or top 4 race, whatever your expectations are as a fan of Serie A. It's a mountain to climb for him next season. So we'll see what he can do. But let's finish off with another big name manager who ended up in a spot not many expected. Jose Mourinho to Turkey with Fenerbahce, who just finished second in the league or back in Champions League. So we'll get to see him on the brightest lights. Jacob, you're a fan of his to a certain extent.
Oh, stop it.
I mean, you didn't want him at Chelsea.
That's within reason. Listen, I appreciate Mourinho for his character, or I guess spark. He was great at Chelsea, but that was a while ago. It pains me to say this, but the more I watch him manage, the more I start to feel bad. Because, listen, he can yell at every ref. He can get thrown out of matches. He can do good PR where he officiates weddings or whatever the hell he's doing. That's great. And he's very entertaining. But the last few stops, his winning percentage has gone down every time. And it is pretty noticeable how at United, when he got fired, they skyrocketed with Solskjaer. They did. I mean, they haven't looked that good since Ferguson left. That's how good they were the minute he got fired. Roma with De Rossi skyrocketed once Mourinho got fired. I mean, listen, Turkey's different. It's a much easier league than those other two, and he's walking into a club that has a much more, I guess, advantageous position than those two have. But I mean, what's the end goal for Mourinho here? He's going to be the king of Turkey? I mean, it's pretty sad when you think about a guy who was considered the best manager in the world about like 8 years ago, arguably, and now is managing in Turkey. And pretty soon he's probably going to be in Saudi. So I think it's honestly a sad fall from grace. I really do. I think it's sad more than like, wow, he's going to turn Turkey. And listen, I get it. His opening presser, which was like 2 hours long, was very entertaining. You know, your shirt is my skin. You know, whatever the hell he said. It's one great quotes. He'll give you awesome quotes. He will light up a presser. He will. He's probably the best at that. I will give him that. But I mean, I don't know. I think the magic is gone with Mourinho. I just don't think he's an elite manager anymore.
Jacob. He was just in the Europa League final.
Oh my God.
Literally literally last May.
But you see, the point is that used to be unacceptable for him. And now that's the best he can do.
But he took a Roma squad he took that Roma squad and led him to a Europa League final. I mean, he's still got some magic in him. He's still got some magic. I don't think he's nearly as bad as we're making him out to be. Sure, Roma turned around this year after getting rid of him. That's very true. Daniel De Rossi was done an incredible job since he replaced Mourinho. But I don't think Mourinho's. I would hold the washed card for now. I would hold it for now.
He's starting. He's
not the same.
He's getting close.
He's absolutely not the same. He's managing Fenerbahce. I'm not saying he's the same manager. Absolutely not. But he's not
still
washed.
Got something left in the tank. I do agree that
he's not washed. I want to see him back.
I hope not. I hope he has some success. It'd make me happy. But the more I'm concerned. I really am. I don't think he's that. I don't know.
I need to see him back of a big club. And then if he fails again at a big club, okay, that's when I say it's over. I think he has one more chance.
But
can you give me one more day?
But this is the problem, Andrew. There's a reason why he's not at a big club right now.
Fenerbahce will rehabilitate him. I'm telling you, this Champions League run, he's gonna get to the round of 16.
And he's got a former Chelsea striker in his squad, Batshuayi.
Yeah, he's in the Champions League and Chelsea isn't.
They loved him.
How about that?
Oh, so okay, fine. See what he's saying? Mourinho's gonna okay.
He's gonna be a round of 16 in the Champions League, and Chelsea isn't.
So book it next year, no matter what the group is. You got to pick them for the round of 16. Next year.
I will, no matter what.
Wow.
No matter the group.
No matter they don't have groups next year.
What if Real Madrid
Hold on. Champions League format is different next year.
Oh God, what's it now?
It's a real league. It's no groups. So the 8 to 24 best teams go in a playoff.
Well, that'll be something we have to dive into much deeper because it's confusing.
Yeah. So no. But already I'm picking them. I'm already picking them. But no, I think he's gonna have Jude Bellingham. he said they'll come to Fenerbahce. Remember the Champions League final?
Yeah, he's great on television.
No, Jude's like, my mom's fancied you for years. They'll come to Fenerbahce. I think Mourinho on the national team would be electric too.
We're waiting for that one. I actually think that's more likely than going to a big club.
I think Mourinho on coaching Portugal would be a lot of fun.
Or it would be a massive disaster.
Well, if he's the next Portuguese manager, it's probably not going to be with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Ronaldo can somehow make it to the 26 World Cup.
He will.
It probably will.
He's the king of Saudi Arabia. He's
probably he'll come on in the 75th minute in all those matches and score a goal somehow. And
we'll have Andrew will get this. He'll have like a few white hairs, like Rod Brindamore.
Yeah, just as cocky as Brindamore too.
Of a busted nose.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, Ronaldo will be a player manager. Yeah. No. No. Mourinho's talked about it. I can't wait for him to manage the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, but he's talked about how he wants to be in the Saudi League. That's what he's talked about.
Yeah, I could see him getting paid a lot of money in MLS. That'd be fun. Him with Ricky Pooch in the LA Galaxy. A lot of fun. Yeah. With Marco Reus now. Marco Reus is going to the Galaxy. You see that?
If he's managing the an MLS club soon, that's when you need to hand in the cards.
No, if he wins the MLS Cup, the special one, winning the MLS Cup.
I can't do this anymore.
it's difficult to go through an MLS playoff. Very difficult.
Jacob's gonna have a headache.
Do not underestimate the MLS Cup playoff. It takes a special manager to get through that.
Come on, man. Stop.
The top of the table team could just lose in an instant and not be a champion.
Yeah, that's like a lot of sports.
Not with soccer.
Guess.
Not with soccer. It only takes a special one to do that.
God, you should be his PR man.
I love Jose Mourinho. One of my best friends. He's a massive Benfica supporter. His family's all Portuguese. Shout out Tyler.
He loves Enzo Fernandez.
No, because he was only there for 3 months. But he's the biggest Jose Mourinho guy I know. And I think he converted me early on. I cannot go against Jose Mourinho. I love the arrogance. I love the flair. And I love that he just will go anywhere. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Oh,
He's going to Fenerbahce. He does not care. But he's going to somehow take that team to the round of 16 of the Champions League.
It'd be a hell of a story. I hope you're right. And
he's going to blow a kiss during their last
Carlos Rodon.
He's be like, not the club's good at me. I come to Turkey and I win. Love the special one. All right.
That's enough of us. Thank you for sticking around. If you are still here,
over 2 hours.
Yeah, it's definitely the longest one. Next week's a big one. Euro and Copa America previews.
Oh, spicy.
So, summer's just getting started and it's a busy one. So we'll make sure to be prepared for that one. It's going to be a good one. But before you listen to us talk about the Euros, I strongly recommend a video on the Telegraph's YouTube channel of Jamie Carragher going through the entire. It's a funny video because it's just him going, I like the squad. They got good quality, but Germany's home. Germany's at home. They'll be good. No, it's good to hear what he thinks of it, but it's kind of just like picking the favorites. But there is a shocker in one of the groups. There is a shocker in the group stage. He's like, I don't have him going through, and you're gonna have to check that out before you watch us because I'm gonna have a similar shocker. Ooh. Nice teaser for next week, but you'll have to wait to see what Andrew's got cooking. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And stay tuned for next week. It's going to be a big one. See you guys.